It's time for live Des Moines Menace Soccer on the Central Iowa Sports Network. Menace Soccer on CISN.TV is brought to you by Shelton Shields, G&L Clothing, the Better Business Bureau, and the Atlantic Bottling Company. Now let's go live to the CISN sports team for the action on the field.
As we're ready for Celebrate America Night and soccer with the Des Moines Menace. Dar Danielson here alongside Hunter Phillips. Has some fireworks tonight, but Hunter, it's been fireworks all season long for the most part for the Menace when they've needed it. And a lot of the games have been close, but some haven't. And in those close ones, they've been able to fire the rocket into the back of the net when they need to, and coming into this with a perfect record, 10-0-1 here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's been fireworks all season for Alan Marcina's team, and it's been just a combination of things. But like you said, the closer matches this year for the Menace, it's been because of their defense. It's because of their back line, just really locking down any passing options for opposing offenses. And there's a reason why they've only allowed 4 goals all season long. They're just all locked in. They do a great job of communicating together. They're just a very compact team, and so with that good defense, I think it's really allowed the offense in the forward positions like Kino Ryosuke to have some good openings and to get some scoring opportunities. And boy, has he taken advantages of those this year. I mean, this has really been an exciting team, and this is going to be quite a series this weekend with Chicago because they have a lot to play for here this weekend. But the Menace, they want to stay perfect here at home.
Yeah, and the only blemish on the record came to Caw Valley. And Caw Valley, I think, has scored 2 of the 4 goals against the Menace this season. That late goal that got them the tie here, the only, non-win, non-loss, the tie here on the record tonight. But you talk about that motivation for Chicago, and sometimes, you get a team that hasn't been beaten, and you think, well, what is their motivation? They can just play out the string, but that doesn't seem to be this team either. They seem to come out prepared and ready to go in every match, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And let's not forget last year, Dar, when they met here at Valley Stadium, Chicago broke the Des Moines Menace's 24-game win streak here at home. So Chicago, they're not afraid of this scene one bit. And so I think that we're going to see both of these teams fight really hard. The Menace, obviously, they want to perform well at home here tonight, but Chicago, they know what's at stake, and so they don't want to give an opportunity to the teams below them. They just want to go ahead. They want to be aggressive here early on, but I think most importantly, Dar, tonight for Chicago, they need to take advantage of the set pieces, because if there's one thing the Menace have maybe kind of struggled at times, it's defending those set pieces, especially the corner kicks. So if Chicago wants to win this match here tonight, which they certainly have the pieces to, including Luke Hawkinson, a Des Moines Menace alum who is leading the team in scoring this year, they're going to have to do it off set pieces, and they certainly know how to do that. They've proven that this year.
Yeah, and it's not been easy to break that back line of the Menace, and that's why the set pieces become so important, because they haven't been able, many teams get many chances to score, break that back line and get in and get a good look at the goal. And when they have, the 2 goaltenders have just been outstanding this season.
Oh, I mean, if you're Alan Marcina, you couldn't ask for a better pair of goaltenders this year. Keegan Meyer from High Point is really having a great season. But how about Carlos Mercado? He's only going to be a freshman entering Incarnate Award, and he's going to be a special goalkeeper. But, between the 2 of them, again, they've only allowed 4 goals this year, and they only allowed 1 against the Chicago team between the 2 of them when they met in Chicago in June. So Chicago's going to have their hands full. When they do get opportunities, it's not going to be easy to score against either one of those goalkeepers this weekend.
We talked about motivation for Chicago, and I think a little bit of the motivation for the Menace is last year, yeah, they get the division, but they kind of felt like they coasted in on empty into that division win, and then into the postseason, not really with the foot on the gas, which is, I think, what they'd like to do in finishing up these home series here. Go full tilt into the playoffs instead of just kind of gliding in there and then hoping maybe you can get it kick-started and get the engine going again in the playoffs.
Well, no question. You want to enter the PDL playoffs with a lot of momentum, and it's kind of interesting timing for this team because they've already clinched the Heartland Division Championship. So now it's how do we stay motivated? How do we stay hungry? How do we continue to get better so we are at the peak? We're ready to go for the PDL playoffs. And I think that this is a golden opportunity for the Menace here to show that, you know what, we're not finished yet. We still have a lot of untaken care of business, and it really starts tonight, tomorrow, and then next weekend when they have their final series here at home. So I think it presents a real good opportunity for the Menace to maybe clean some things up and just continue to get better, continue to learn, and just continue to team build here throughout these next set of games.
And you mentioned Kino Ryusuke, and not only is he top goal scorer, but he's one of those guys that no matter what sport it is, when he's on the field, you got to watch for him, and he may not score a goal, but he takes 2 defenders, sometimes 3, away from the goal, so you get it to the side to him, and that opens up spots for everybody else.
I tell you what, Kino is just a really fun player to watch. I mean, he is very deceptive, and he's also very athletic as well, coming over from Marshalltown Community College. I mean, who would have thought he'd have the season that he's had? And he's going to go on to play at Louisville, but he has scored the most goals for the Menace since 2004 individually. And so I tell you what, it's been a combination of things. I think what's, to me, the most impressive thing about Kino Ryusuke is that he's always waiting for that opportunity to strike. He's never slowing down on a play. He is constantly looking for an opening. He's constantly looking at the defense around him, and he's waiting for those opportunities. As we saw last Friday here at Valley Stadium against Cobb Valley, a deflection off of a shot from Adi Jepson. He goes ahead and puts it in. I mean, he waits for the right opportunity. He's such a smart player, but as you said, Dar, he's very deceptive, and he can take 3 players with him. He's just a really fun player to watch. He's just one of a multitude of weapons that front line has.
And he's still in line for the Golden Boot here so far in the PDL, and we'll see how that goes. If he adds to that goal total, and even doesn't tonight, we'll see if he adds on to that as they face Chicago here tonight. And fireworks after the match as they kind of extend the holiday. It's kind of weird with that holiday middle week, yes. But going to extend it here tonight with a few fireworks. So we're going to take a break. And we'll do that. We'll come back, and we'll be about ready for the start of this match with the starting lineups and meet all the players and starters from both teams and get ready to get underway here with the undefeated Menace taking on Chicago here on CISN.TV.
Miss your hometown clothing store, the one that had it all? Everything to get the work done, all in one place? G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us. Or we're only a click or phone call away. Family owned for nearly a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll, Des Moines.
G&L Clothing, your size, your style, we've got it all.
Here's
to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game, Shields.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury. Whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
Building a strong community doesn't happen overnight. It takes a vision for the future, the ability to turn a challenge into a success, and individuals who inspire new generations of growth. Greater Des Moines has done a lot of growing over the years, and so have we. At Brick Gentry Law, your success is something that we create together. Thank you for making us a part of your community. Thank you for 50 years. Building a strong community doesn't happen overnight. It takes a...
Here at West Des Moines Valley Stadium, getting ready for the Des Moines Menace taking on Chicago FC United tonight. Dar Danielson, Hunter Phillips on CISN.TV. Thanks for watching here. As the Menace have come in, they've outscored their opponents 27-4, 8-0 before halftime, and 19-4 after halftime. And let's see, the last couple of games, the only goal they've given up was to Caw Valley. In that match, they did give up one at Chicago, 2-1. They won that one. Then they came out the next day and exploded for 5-0 win over Chicago. So they seem to have Chicago's number a little bit, but then you can't go by, those games are a few weeks ago
right
now. And so, but I think that's been one of the things that I've liked about this team the whole way is they seem to be focused for the most part throughout the match. There's very rare times where they lose their focus and lose their shape and are not where they're supposed to be on the field.
Yeah, and that's a credit to Alan Marcina and his coaching staff and just, making sure that this team continues to communicate even when the reserves are out there. What I thought was really impressive is when they had their exhibition match last Saturday. It was shortened due to some inclement weather here, but even the reserves, it was just really, really impressive just seeing how tough of a unit they were and how smart they were. This is just a very fundamentally sound team, and especially against the Chicago team, they were able to respond in that one game in which they won 2-1. Chicago was able to equalize it in the 63rd minute, and then boom, right in the 65th minute, the Menace were able to get that goal that eventually gave them the win. And then in that 5-0 win at Chicago, they scored all 5 of those goals in the final 23 minutes. So this is a Menace team that just has a relentless energy about them, and they've just been a fun team to watch this year.
So, out on the field here getting introduced, Carlos Mercado will be in goal tonight. James Alowine, a defender. Alejandro Covarrubias will be a midfielder. Johnny Fenwick, a defender. Peter Pearson, a midfielder. Omar Muhammad, a midfielder. Brandon Fricky, back there, one of the defensive anchors. Wilfred Williams back on defensive side. Audie Jepson, a midfielder. Marcel Berry, a defender. Kino Ryosuke, you see him being introduced right now. And the lineup for tonight. One thing about the Menace, too, is they always seem to have depth, and some good depth in there when they need to bring in substitutes late in the match. They bring in guys that there isn't much drop-off. You get the fresh legs in there, and you don't see a drop-off at all.
And again, I think that's what really elevates the confidence of this squad is because of their overall depth. And there's a few changes in the lineup. I saw Johnny Fenwick, who came off the bench last week. He's going to be starting here. And, when you have that depth, it is a great weapon to have.
So time now to pause for our national anthem.
Fans, at this time, please stay standing.
And there you have it, national anthem.
I'd like to ask everyone to join us at this time for a moment of silence. The Des Moines Menace organization lost a friend this week. On Sunday morning, we learned the sad news that local sports broadcaster Larry Kotler died in last weekend's flash flooding. Larry, 66, was a fan and friend of the Menace, and he has spent time as the team's public address announcer. In his 43-year career as a sports talk radio host, Larry built a reputation for being kind, caring, and hardworking. Tonight, Menace players are wearing black t-shirts in Larry's memory, and at this time, we ask that you join us in a moment of silence for Larry, the Copman Kotler, and his family. Fans and players, thank you.
There again, a moment of silence for Larry Kotler. If you hadn't heard, he died tragically in the flooding Saturday morning. And that Thursday night, I'd sat next to Larry at a high school baseball game, and right next to him, and what a great guy. And he's going to be missed in this market and sports. And went to his funeral on Thursday, and just an outpouring of people. And we sat down at the table, and a guy was sitting there, and we started talking with him. I didn't know Larry. I was just a fan. I'd say hi to him at the ball games, but I just thought I'd come out because he made the ball games fun and special. And it's just hard to believe. You sit next to a guy doing a game, and then, I was out of town and got the news Sunday morning that I knew someone had been killed in the flash flooding, and that, it was horrible. And then you find out it was Larry. It'd be, it's just kind of still hard to believe a little bit.
Yeah, I think the news certainly stunned everyone, and it's still really hard to process. I do the women's basketball broadcast on the radio at Drake, so I crossed paths frequently with Larry, as did you, and so many others. And we saw the outpouring of love and also laughter, too, at Larry's service on Thursday. And it just so happened that he was here at a Menace game.
His wife was going to sing,
yes.
except for the rain, yeah.
And I was here that night, so it's just very weird to process all of that. But I think Larry would be really, really touched by how he was remembered, and a great job by the Des Moines Menace and all the sports teams here in the metro area, of course, with the Iowa Barnstormers. Tomorrow they're dedicating that championship game for Larry, so it's amazing to see this community just showing an outpouring of love and support for Larry the Copman Kotler, because he meant so much to so many.
And I can't say that you couldn't find somebody that wouldn't have something negative to say about me, but I know with Larry there wasn't anybody that he didn't have something good to say about, and I couldn't find anybody that would say anything negative about him. So that's the kind of attitude you want to have, and he'd be excited. I know he was excited by the Menace and how well they're doing, how well the Barnstormers are doing, and just – anytime he did a game, he put the passion into it.
Yeah, so he is. He's certainly going to be missed, but know that he is watching up from above as we're just underway on what is really a beautiful night here at Valley Stadium.
You can see the flags just moving a little bit. We got a good breeze here as Chicago gets it started. The Menace in the red, Chicago in the white here tonight, and that'll go off Chicago over to the Menace. And Marcel Berry will take the throw in. And they'll drop it back here. And they'll build up from the back. Up to the left side. Back over to Pearson. Now Berry trying to sneak it through there, but good defending by Luke Hawkinson. And now the Menace take it back away. That midfield is where they really kind of squeeze you down and try and make it tough on you to get that ball back through to the back line.
Yeah, that's where the defense really starts to clamp down for the Menace. And there you see right there just not giving Chicago any opportunities as the Menace are now heading towards Chicago's side of the pitch.
Yep. Up ahead, looking for Ryusuke, and Chicago stops the attack for the moment. And we'll try to turn it back the other way. Hawkinson outside to Xavier Gomez. He'll take it up the left side. Shadowed by 2 defenders there. And they'll clear it out. It'll be throw in for Chicago.
And again, one thing to focus on here tonight if you're Chicago is when you're on this side of the field and you get those set pieces, you have to be able to take advantage of it because the Menace have done a great job of pressuring their opponents. Just looking for a cross there, but
tried to cross it in the middle, now knocked down. And Chicago keeps control. Now the Menace trying to turn it back the other way. They'll drop it back. Then up ahead. And Ryusuke up there with a couple defenders on him. Back the other way for Chicago. As they work through that back line, 5 deep across the back for the Menace. 4 in the middle, and Ryusuke up top. As Martin Alba sends it over to Hawkinson. Hawkinson. We'll have an eye on him tonight. As he'll try to switch fields. Now up through the middle. And knocked down. Fricky back there, one of them. And Fenwick. And there's a pull, there's a foul. First foul of the match goes against Chicago.
And you saw Chicago trying to switch sides there, trying to find something with the long ball there, and the Menace were just able to make a good play on it. They had the numbers there, and now they're on the attack.
Barry into the middle, looking to go in the middle, knocked away. Needed a little more pace on that one. And Chicago comes the other way. Chicago tried that last time over the top, and I've seen teams try that, and no one has really made it work too much. Those defenders are too good and too tall on the back line, it seems like.
Yeah, and especially against Caw Valley last week. Caw Valley was trying to attempt that against the Menace, and really no luck. They tried it throughout much of the first half, a little bit in the second half, and just no luck for them. And
that's what they did in that first match, and I guess some of that is maybe trying to soften it up there in the middle. But the first corner of the match will go to Chicago. And here's what you talked about. Can they take advantage of it? They go short with it, and then it's knocked away. And now, chance to break the other way with it. Ryusuke checks back to see where his teammates are, then pushes it up ahead. Now he'll turn. And that's another thing, too. When he it's not there, he doesn't force it. He'll look to go back and set himself back up. A lot of times those, the big scorers, the offensive guys, they just want to take it to the hole or take it to the net. But most of the time he's pretty patient and sets himself up pretty well.
Yeah, and that's what separates Keno from a lot of the really good goal scorers, as you mentioned. And when we talked about it at the top of our broadcast, I mean, that's just his awareness. He always seems to know where the opposing players are at, and he knew not to force the issue and wait for his teammates.
This one goes across goal. No real danger there for Mercado. On the far side, trying to work against the defense. Hawkinson doesn't find any room and will send it back up top. They'll try to reverse it here. Stoneman over to the left to Carpe. As that defense just moves over. Try to squeeze them off. This time up over the top. Fricky's back there. And taken by the keeper.
Now just good awareness there by Brandon Fricky to be able to close in on the Chicago player there, knowing that he was calling for it and that his teammate needed help, and Fricky was in there to clear that one out.
Joined a good little press here. A guy, Grimes, that area guy, gotten a few write-ups and television appearances here as he's really had a good season as a defender back there and deservedly so getting a little media attention from that. Here's a drive up the middle, looking for Barry. If he can get it over there on the right side and forces Chicago to clear it out. So the Menace now in their own half with it, working with it. Barry kicks it back inside. Now out from Muhammad. Over the top into Muhammad. Tried to get it in there to Jepson. And now Chicago tries to counter quickly here. On the right side. Into the middle. And nice punch away by Mercado as that shot had a little more pace on it, I think, than what he expected.
But he just went out, put his big mid up there, and was able to swat that one away. A reason why Mercado was named the goalkeeper of the week by the PDL. Again, just going to enter his freshman season in college down in San Antonio, and he is going to be an impressive player to watch in his career.
Here's the corner, headed out by the Menace. And now Ryusuke tries to turn it around, and the AR says it's still in. And now it's out, and it'll go to Chicago. And Max De Bruyne sends it over. Now back to De Bruyne. As they try working the ball again. About 9 minutes in here, no score early on in this match. Knocked away by Barry. Gets it back outside to Muhammad. Omar Muhammad taking it up. Looking, Ryusuke is over to his left. Now sneaks it through, but a little too much on it. Tried the old look to his left and sneak it by the right, but just a little too much on that one.
But a great job by Barry there in space to go up ahead to Muhammad. Now, Muhammad's not like Keno, where Muhammad, he is going to go for the goal, and he has a lot of individual talent. He's really good at cutting to the left, cutting to the right when going near the box. But that time it was broken up by Hawkinson of Chicago. But Muhammad really showing off his speed off the breakaway.
Here's Chicago. Back down their end. And again, trying to work it. They'll come out wide. Now down to Hawkinson. Luke Hawkinson tried to go up over the top there, but knocked away.
And Dar, I think you would agree that Chicago so far, I mean, granted it's been 9.5 minutes, but they have really controlled the opening set of minutes in this match in terms of
playing on their end mostly. They haven't had a lot of good looks at the goal, the one hard shot there that was punched away, but they have kept it on their end for the most part. There's a lob over, and that one is knocked away and out of there by Williams. And that's one of the things we've talked about before with soccer. It's you can have possession for so long, but just one quick breakaway the other way, and that's can sting you.
Absolutely.
In a matchup, and that's what you have to watch for. And we'll see. The Menace have really not any quick counters so far. They've been wanting to work it meticulously up the field, but we'll see what happens now. Big battle over there. Ryusuke has it. Muhammad's up the middle and can't sneak it through there. The pass a little short, but was looking for him cutting up the middle of the field.
And that was going to be a tough pass for Kino Ryusuke to make right there, but a good job by Chicago for just eliminating that option for him.
That was almost one of those you needed to get a little bit of the loft on it and over the defender, but
yeah,
credit the defender for stepping right in there. And Chicago will take it back to the right side again. Still trying to work it in there. Hawkinson all the way to the left has both hands up, said I'm open over here, but then you got to get the good pass across the field. Now here they penetrate a little bit. Didn't break the line completely, but trying to work a little one-on-one over there with Fenwick. And that'll be another corner. Well, this is unusual in the matches I've done so far to see this many corners out of the opponent this early in the match.
And especially, when you look at the last 2 matches for the Menace, they have really been aggressive in the early set of minutes, but tonight it's been Chicago.
In swinger coming over, headed and knocked out of there. Looked like he had a line on it inside, but Menace defender got just a bit ahead on there, and the Menace come away with it as Hawkinson was looking for another goal. How many did he have on the season? He's their leader, isn't he, right?
Yeah, leading goal scorer for Chicago at 3, tied with Jesus Perez. And again, Hawkinson, a Menace alum, in the last 2 opponents that the Menace have played, their leading scorers, Caw Valley and for Chicago, their leading scorers used to play for the Menace.
Into the 13th minute, no score here. Akeem Ward drops it back. Now over. Up to Sanchez. Sanchez into the middle. Looking for Hawkinson to break up the left side there. We'll take it back to the middle. Sven Koenig. And that one an easy roller to Mercado. And now the Menace will build it up. Very controlled tonight, as you said, by the Menace, working it up the field. Barry turns it and loses it.
And they've been trying to feed it into Barry, who had 2 assists in that exhibition game against Union Dubuque FC. Really played well in that match, and so they've really tried to push it to him here on the near side of the field, but nothing going. Maybe we'll see if the Menace will try going on the far side to attack in the Chicago zone.
See if they work it over to the left side, but they come back up in the middle. Muhammad back to Barry, and now back inside to cover Rubius. Tried to go way outside wide there, but knocked away. That one is clear up over the top, and offside called, the first offside of the night.
Chicago looking for a foul there at midfield. Luca Perpa put into the ref that he was knocked down from behind, but the official must not have seen the player, did not think there was enough there.
Up ahead in the middle, but quickly stripped of the ball. And Mohammed can't get it back. They'll go outside to Hawkinson of Chicago. And squeezing in on that double and triple team whenever the ball gets to the side. Trying to cut off the passing lanes back to the middle. This one high up outside, looking for Hawkinson. We'll have to send it back up, as he did well just to get to that. Gomez. And now they'll switch fields again. Way out wide. And working hard against the defender, but gaining no ground, and then has it taken away. And Audie Jepson working over there, but went off of him. It'll go out to Chicago.
And a great job by Wilfred Williams there for the Menace, not giving Akeem Ward any options there in the corner.
Into the 17th minute, no score here in the first half. And Chicago. And it is interesting, you see the teams, they've meet each other 3 to 4 times, and they do kind of adjust a little bit to their strategy, and then for the Menace, they have to adjust a little bit. And here, Menace just playing a little more controlled to start out the match.
Yeah, you can really tell that the Menace are really getting a feel for this Chicago team. And like you said, that's one of the beauties for them is that, hey, we get a second chance against these guys. And so we'll just figure out what did not work against them the last time. They only scored one goal as the Menace intercepted.
Yeah. Ryusuke on the outside. He just about flashed in there earlier on that pass and took it the other way for a wide open. Now they go down to the corner and not going to get there. But can the Menace keep control? They can't. They'll turn it back the other way. Gomez. So maybe starting to find a few holes, a few chances to turn and counter for the Menace.
And the thing I've noticed about Chicago is that they're not really making any kind of risks in terms of their passing. They're waiting for plays to develop, waiting for their teammates to get into position. And I think that if there's one way to defeat this really tough Menace defense, it's being able to stay patient.
And that's the key. How long can you stay patient? Because after a while of doing that and you're passing around, never seems like you find a break in that red. And then before you know it, the Menace can counter back the other way. So we'll see what happens. They go out wide. Cross toward the middle, and the keeper come out. Almost some miscommunication there, but then they call the push in there against Chicago, but I didn't see which defender it was, but he ran into Mercado and almost had an issue with the keeper being knocked down in an open net there.
Yeah, and very fortunate that a foul was called. I believe that was James Alvawine that was right there. And, yeah, just a midair collision and really a golden opportunity there for Chicago as the ball was right there. And Mercado had no play on it if they're able to strike it. But foul was called, and the Menace able to breathe a little easier after that little sequence.
Into the middle now. Looking for Ryusuke over the top. And headed away, but he's staying with it. Now nudged up ahead. Jepson. Outside with it is Covarrubias. Will he be able to turn it in? Defender on him, gets it into Jepson. Jepson. Over. Into Muhammad. Muhammad. Back to Barry. Ryusuke. Back over to Muhammad. Looking for that crack there in the defense. To Muhammad. And now drop back. Wow, that was a lot of possession time up almost in the penalty box there.
But I really like what Muhammad did there, not forcing the issue. A lot of times he does that, but instead just opting to go back and waiting for something else. And this time they're going out to the far side, the Menace are.
Well, let's see. Mercado comes up, sends it up ahead to Allwine. Over to Barry on the right side. Oh, he was going to try to sneak it back through to Muhammad, but taken away there. Christian Sanchez.
And they were successful on a breakaway earlier in the match between Barry and Muhammad, but that time very well read by Chicago.
So into the 21st minute, we'll get a shoe tied up here. And Barry then will take the throw in for the Menace. No score. Dropped it back. Covarrubias. Back to Barry. He'll almost knocked away there.
You're seeing Hawkinson just be a little bit more aggressive when going up against Marcel Barry, and lately he's had the better of him.
Covarrubias now lobs it up ahead. And that'll go out to the Menace. Muhammad between the defenders, sneaks it inside. Now they try to get it back to him, and he went down, was looking to maybe get a call somewhere, but no. And the defense forces the turnover, as it were, there.
And a little miscommunication there for Chicago, but not a lot of space there between Mohammed and Adi Jepson. And talking about Adi Jepson, one of the top playmakers in terms of assists for this Des Moines Menace team. Very unselfish player, but that time just not a lot of space there inside the box.
Yeah, he's one of those pivot guys. You get it to him, and he always seems to know the right place to put the ball. And they'll drop it back now to Allwine and set it up top. Looking for Jepson through, but not going to get there. And Chicago trying to keep it in and can't. And you can hear him talking there, telling him the defender's coming, and then they picked up the foul. So far, 3 fouls on Chicago, none on the Menace here in this match, but nothing really too physical about this so far.
And I think that's going to change as the night progresses, but really, Dar, over the last couple of minutes, something that we really haven't seen, and that's the Des Moines Menace really starting to put pressure on this back line of Chicago, and now we have a set piece here for the Menace and see what they can concoct here on this play.
So a little two-man wall out front. Here's the lob, in swing and over, header, goes wide. But not a bad delivery, and it'll be the first Menace corner of the night. And again, a set piece, and again, Covarrubias will put the foot to it.
This is a player that they have really relied upon for these set pieces with all the professional experience that Covarrubias has. Nearly was able to connect with Fricke. We'll see what he does here.
This one swinging out a little bit and knocked down, but couldn't quite turn on it was Jepson, and then a foul in the box. It'll be a PK, I believe. Was it?
Chicago players really disagreeing with the call there, but looked like that was James Althewine that was there for the Menace when that occurred.
Yeah. So a chance here in the 25th minute to get on the board. And it was Max DeBruyne really arguing with the center official. Now he goes over to the AR and arguing his case, and neither one of them is going to give him a reprieve there. They're going to go ahead with the PK. So the keeper has to stay on the line. He can go side to side, can't come out. And you got to do a little guessing as Ryusuke will take the kick. There's the whistle. Slides it into the right side. Goal for the Menace in the 26th minute.
Goal number 13 on the season for Kino Ryosuke.
On the PK.
And I remember when we were talking about Kino in our pregame show about his deceptiveness. That was really deceptive right there as you had the goaltender going one way, and he didn't have to put anything on that ball to get it there in the near corner.
The goaltender was thinking it's a hard blast to the right. He got him leaning that way and then slid it in the other way. That's been the fun thing about the World Cup is you see these, the best in the world at it, and even they can be fooled, and they can, fool those goaltenders. Saw the one where Messi missed the PK that would have, tied it up. And, man, there's just a lot of pressure on you, though, when you're now – not in this match right now because it's early on, but that kick where you're down there alone against the goaltender isn't always a sure thing.
And that just looked like a confident player right there. He knew what he was going to do, and the goalie took the bait, and he was able to score. And why not be confident against Sawyer Jackman, the goalkeeper for Chicago, as Kino scored 2 goals against Chicago when he was the goalkeeper in the last match there on June 20th in the Windy City. So that's now 3 goals against Jackman that Keno has been able to connect on this year against Chicago.
Here's Mohammed, sneaks it by the defender, then gets knocked down, draws a foul there. As he had Ryusuke up ahead, he gets by into that ball. Maybe had a chance to sneak it in there for a little one-on-one, and Ryusuke looking at maybe another goal. And Menace back to action here. They're in the red on the screen, leading now 1-0 off the penalty kick.
Darn, in the first 15 minutes, I mean, you could say that Chicago FC United was really controlling the possession of this match, although you could also argue that the Menace were really just trying to settle into this match, seeing what Chicago was going to hand them. But now, in the last 15 minutes, roughly, we've seen the Des Moines Menace really put the pressure on the Chicago team.
Yeah, it kind of shifted. Earlier we were talking about it all being in the Chicago half, and then it switched. It was all in the Menace half, and Barry tries to knock that down. He does keep it in, but can't keep possession. And then there's a foul called. A little too much grabbing there. On the Menace.
So now this is going to be a pivotal point, even though we're at the 28th minute here in this first half. How is Chicago going to respond? I mean, you're playing on the road. You're in the driver's seat for that second playoff spot. There is a lot on the line. These are the final couple of regular season matches for them.
Here goes
Ryusuke
back into Muhammad. Goal! Menace goal number 2, and you talked about it. And they just turned around as you were saying it. And Muhammad gets the goal off the assist from Ryusuke. And it's quickly Menace up 2-0. And you were exactly right. It was how were they going to respond, and the Menace just took it right back at him and scored the goal with Omar Mohammed.
Yeah, that is not how you want to respond after that initial goal if you're Charlie Trout, the manager for Chicago FC United. Just very sloppy handling by Chicago, and like we've seen from the Menace time and time again, they take advantage of the passing errors, and in a lot of space, they were able to get another goal and the first assist on this season for Ryusuke, and the second goal of the year for Omar Mohammed, who's really done a great job here in the opening 29 minutes of this match, putting pressure individually on himself alone on the Chicago team.
There's Mohammed with it again, over to Ryusuke. And when they've been successful, it seems like when they move Ryusuke more to the outside, he starts in the middle, but then they kind of bunch up on him in there, and then they move him to the outside, and Mohammed kind of slides into that middle and then feeds it to him, and that's when seems like they get more successful with him getting open and scoring. This one's going to go down deep and out. And one of those that forces the AR to get on his horse right out there.
Well, he's just lucky that it isn't last week where we had 105-degree heat indexes, so at least it's a cool night for him to be running out there here at Valley Stadium.
Yeah, this is one of the cooler nights as they almost try to sneak it through there to Sven Koenig. And now the Menace back the other way, and then it's tough when you play that slow, methodical style looking for it when you're down 2-0. Then that just makes it that much tougher on Chicago.
Especially when you consider that the Menace have not given up a first-half goal this season. You want to knock on wood there. Do not want to put the broadcaster jinx there, certainly. But when you see how well this defense has played, you're down 2-0 to the Menace. That's a pretty big deficit, even though we still have a lot of soccer left to play. So if you're Chicago, certainly the pressure is already built up, and that's certainly what you do not want, especially when we just got done talking about how well this team was really controlling the pace of this match in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, we know at Chicago that was a 2-1 match between those two, a tight one early, and then the next one, the Menace just exploded. It was 5-0 where they beat him there, and now the referee giving a little talking to down there. And again, understanding the frustration by Chicago as they fall behind and just saying, hey, let's not let it get too much out of hand here. And here we come again. Mohammed Sends it up ahead, and that one's going to go too much. I'm not quite sure where he was looking at. He looked left, and he had two guys up the right, but
Yeah, just a difficult pass for Muhammad to make. And normally he is not the one that is sending those forward balls up. That's usually the task of someone like a Chris Hellman or an Adi Jepson as well. We've seen Marcel Berry do that.
Yeah. Chicago dropped it back now. Up ahead, they're trailing 2-0. Couple of goals within 3 minutes of each other here to break it open in the first half for the Menace. Bring it back up. And that will stay with the Menace. Or no, I guess it didn't go out. I thought
It was pretty close over
I
there.
thought he was pointing. He put his hand, I guess he put his hand down and said it was in. And that goes wide. A long shot taken there, but Mercado right there made a dive at it, but it went wide anyway as it was hooking outside. And here we go. It'll be a goal kick for the Menace. So it took him a little bit. Took him about halfway through, more than halfway through the first half, but they got on the board and then did it in succession. Here's Ryusuke through the defense. Back outside, across off the goalkeeper, and that'll go out for a throw instead of the corner.
And you could see the back line of Chicago right now. They're really just arguing at one another, saying this is where you're supposed to be at. Just again, the miscommunication on this back line for Chicago has really costed them and nearly cost them yet another goal. Another could have been a bigger deficit there, as they were in a dangerous spot with Ryusuke closing in. But luckily, a nice play was made there by Sawyer Jackman.
Covarrubias. Well, and it's no longer the slow buildup from the back for the Menace either. They're going right on the counterattack as soon as they get a chance here, and that's added to the pressure of the defense. Here's Muhammad. A little fancy footwork, still working with it. Gets into the middle then to Jepson. Jepson can turn, but he can't get their left foot around enough to get a shot off. And here's Chicago.
I really like that play by Omar Muhammad. Again, I think he is just really having a fantastic first half, and that time able to connect there with Adi Jepson, but was double teamed there right in front of the goal.
But
what a good idea.
He put it right to the feet where Jepson can get it and the defenders couldn't get to it, and then just, it's hard when you get that double team for Jepson to turn on it, but he tried, and you turn and sometimes you get it toward the goal and you get a rebound, and you got somebody filling in that can get the rebound. But you're right. I mean, just the way he placed it right in there was beautiful. Up ahead, now knocked away again by the Menace. Over to the far side. They've worked it back and forth. And they'll let you have the edges, and then they'll clamp down on you. They just don't give you the middle to get it back in there on the pass.
No, and this diamond formation has really been working out for the Menace here this season. And they really haven't had to deviate from what they do on defense because, again, we talk about the depth and just really each area, the midfield, back line.
Oh, nice
here
through
come the
ball.
Menace.
Muhammad up the right side. Oh, nice defending there as he read Muhammad that time and took it away. And then the foul. That was De Bruyne who stopped Muhammad there.
And lately, De Bruyne and that back line for Chicago have had their hands full, but a great play by him by not giving Muhammad any kind of room.
Yeah, they've been backpedaling quite a bit, but De Bruyne, he's a big guy, and it's not easy to get it over him, and that time he just kind of watched the feet and didn't worry too much about the movement and went for the ball and knocked it away. Here comes Chicago. 37th minute, trailing 2-0. Into the middle. Hawkinson, and he's covered up. Back outside. headed out of there by Fenwick. It'll be a throw on the far side. Yes. Williams knocks down the flag, sets it back up for him. I wasn't here, but I understand a lot of water on the field there last weekend, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you just saw the clouds coming from the west, and it's You knew that the rain was coming, and just the amount of rain that really the Des Moines Metro had was really, really scary. And you go up to Ankeny, had 10 inches of rain there on Saturday night, and you could just see from the stadium lights just ahead of us that night, you could tell just how bad the rain was pouring. So a lot of rain here, and luckily it was just an exhibition match, and they were able to get 40 minutes in. But, man, what a difference a week can make.
Yeah, I had 5 inches in my rain gauge. The only reason there was only 5 inches because that's as far as it goes. And it was over the top. And in Urbandale, they said 7 to 7.2, something like that. But as Chicago now battling. And that is one thing, too. Those guys up top play some defense. They don't just make it easy on the defenders when they give up the ball to bring it back up. Gomez sends it outside. As Chicago in the 39th minute here. Open to maybe get something going before the half.
Looked like Brandon Fricke was hoping that Marcel Berry would go up a little bit further, as Fricke was trying to head that one out, looking for Berry in space, but instead it'll be a goal kick for the Menace.
Battle for it there, and they come away with it. Peter Pearson. And now snuck through there. Nice job by Williams as the Menace keep possession. And this is here, too, where they get their crisp passing and they just make the other team run all over the place chasing it. It seems like they can never catch up. With quick touch, setting the ball and moving it.
I think that was really the game plan all along for this coaching staff, is just, let Chicago settle in, and then it'll be our turn to really wear them down. And we've really seen that here in the last 20 minutes or so of this first half. It's really just been impressive to watch just how consistent this Menace team is in really all aspects of the game. They're going to force things on defense, and then they're just so good at passing, able to change areas of the field, and they have so many weapons to work with. And we've already seen two dangerous guys, Omar Muhammad and Kino Ryusuke, score tonight.
Back up the left side for the Menace. Williams. Now they'll switch field. Into Muhammad. Ooh, almost snuck it through there to Ryusuke. Here's Barry. Barry now gets it through. Ryusuke on the right side. Oh, right into the keeper. As he smothers it, Jackman. And then Muhammad is knocked down.
More of a frustration play there for Luke Hawkinson there.
Yeah.
But, man, Sawyer Jackman was thinking, oh, no, not again. He's already scored 3 goals on me this season, and he was just at the right place at the right time.
Now here again, another dangerous area for Chicago, with the Menace just outside there with the free kick. Delivery swings a little inside. On the far side, they lob it back over, and nobody there. As Gomez knocks it down up to Hawkinson and back to Gomez. And he'll send it up toward midfield.
Just a little too much hook on that one from Covarrubias.
And then a foul called there. And Grant Stoneman, what did I do? And referee trying to keep control right now, doesn't want it to get too much, and he's sticking with the call. He's not. I don't know why players go up and argue that, because he's not going to change it and say, no, okay, we'll award the kick to you and turn it around there. But
I'm sure Chicago right now, they feel like it's a little lopsided in terms of the foul department, but really it's ever since that first goal scored by the Menace, it's really been the frustration fouls that have really hurt Chicago here lately, as they just have not been able to make any progress in trying to at least get a goal on the board, as the Menace just continue to put the pressure on.
Yeah, because early on they were, the fouls were like bumping. They were trying to get the ball, but as you say now, it's like they miss the ball and then they slam into somebody. Barry gets around the defenders. Oh, had Jepson back up there but couldn't sneak it through. It'll be a corner, but he had Audie Jepson on a line toward the goal. And it'll be another corner for the Menace. Their second here of the first half. And once again, Covarrubias will give it the boot here. And a header, goal! Jepson. Audie Jepson with a beautiful header in the 43rd minute. And what a well-placed corner.
Yeah, Covarrubias is as good as they get, and that last corner kick, again, a little bit too much hook that time, but there he was able to find Audie Jepson, who has just been a magnet towards the goal box here in this first half, finally getting one through, and the 5th goal on the season for the Green Bay native. Again, a very unselfish player for the Menace, but someone who is not afraid to strike one past the goalkeeper like he did there with the header. Just a beautiful sequence there from Covarrubias to Jepson. And the Menace, man, they
score again here in the final 2 minutes of the first half to go up 3-0.
You know, it is firework night here at Valley Stadium, and they've already
set them off in the first half, yeah. And here we go. Final minute of the first half. I don't know if they'll add any time. We really hadn't had a whole lot of stoppage, I don't think.
If anything, it might be a minute,
Maybe,
but
yeah.
Still not sure. But, man, what a first half by this Des Moines Menace squad.
And foul going back to the Menace. And here's where those fouls and things are starting to add up and will hurt you when you try to make the comeback. You know, you keep giving it back to Des Moines.
Yeah, clearly here in the later stages of this first half, the fouls have really helped the Menace regather themselves. And even when they are good on the break, they're also really good at just being able to set each other up on these kind of plays right here.
So there must be at least a minute because they're through regulation, and then a foul on the Menace, and I think that came against CC Uche, who came into the ball game or the match just a minute ago. And back the other way. We didn't have any announcement of the extra time, but we're in it now. As they sent it up to the top. And tried to long pass to sneak it through, didn't get there. Ryusuke takes it, drops it off. He falls down, but over to Muhammad. Muhammad can't quite get there. He goes down, clutching his leg, but gets back up.
Ryosuke on the far side thought that he was fouled, laying on the ground for a little bit and shrugging his shoulders, saying, where's the call at, but did not get it.
And this one again, they try to go back over the top. And that'll be it after about a minute of extra time. It's halftime with the Menace 3-0 here at the end of the first half. And took them a while to build up that first half of the first half here. Hunter, but then they just seemed to get it going after that penalty kick.
Yeah, and I think what we've seen out of this Menace team, especially here over the last couple of weeks when they've been playing here at home, is they've done a great job of settling in and not being too worried about the opposing team, Chicago, here tonight, getting scoring opportunities. They had a couple set pieces, Chicago did, and we talked about at the top of the broadcast that it was going to be imperative for Chicago here tonight. If they were going to have any success against the Menace, they had to take advantage of those, and they didn't. And then, meanwhile, the Menace, they were able to, like they always have done here this season on defense, they're able to clamp down on the passing lanes, and they were able to have some great breakaway opportunities with Kino Ryosuke getting a goal. He's now the front runner there for the Golden Boot here in the PDL as of right now with that 13th goal. But how about, I think Omar Muhammad really had a good first half here, just being aggressive throughout, and he's such a talented player. And he was also setting up Adi Jepson, who happened to get a goal just a couple minutes ago before the end of this first half. But
yeah, and he's the one you get so intent about him, you almost forget about Ryosuke,
right,
which you can't do. But, and sometimes that style you talked about where he attacks the goal, it just helps because then you got to think, man, I can't get off of him, and you're, coming over there to mark him, and then before you know it, he's getting rid of the ball quickly to somebody else. And, yeah, that's just that front line is just playing so well here too.
And again, it just goes back to the overall depth, the amount of weapons that front line has. And really for the last half of this first half, it was that front line of the Menace putting the pressure on Chicago and the advantage clearly in the hands of the Menace.
Well, it's 3-0 here at the half. We're going to take a break. We'll do that and then come back with more halftime after this on CISN.TV.
You want to get stronger, faster, healthier. You want more. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community. You want to get stronger.
Welcome to Fairway, where we're not a mega food, fashion, fitness, you name it center. For 80 years, we've been your neighborhood meat and grocery store, focused on cutting you the highest quality meats for your backyard barbecue, providing the freshest ingredients for your summer salad, and making sure your shopping trip is as easy and sweet as Grandma's blueberry pie. So while others try to put it all under one roof, at Fairway, we put our all into meat and grocery.
This is Iowa, and here we don't just dream, we make history by nearly doubling our clean energy as part of our 100% renewable vision. With this, our energy costs will remain some of the lowest in the nation. We'll create new jobs and boost economic growth. Our air will be cleaner, our state stronger, and together we'll advance this country's energy future forever. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service. This is Iowa.
Summer is always a happy time of year, and at Come and Go, we want to make you even happier. That's why we have great deals all summer long, like our made fresh pizzas that are buy one and get one free every Friday. And you can sit happy with any size drink for just $1 every day. Or get 10 cents off fuel when you buy any 3 sodas. So come on in and find your happy this summer. Come and Go, where and means more happy.
Schottenkirk's All-American Sales Event, featuring one low price on Iowa's 2 top brands. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee, Schottenkirk Ford Indianola. Up to 25% off select new Silverado 1500 double cabs. Up to $13,000 off select new Ford F-150 Super Cruise. Hundreds of new Chevys and Fords marked with one low price. Schottenkirk is in a position to give you $300 to $500 more for your trade. The All-American Sales Event, going on now at Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee, Schottenkirk Ford Indianola. Schottenkirk's All-American Sales Event, featuring one low price on Iowa's 2 top brands. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee, Schottenkirk Ford Indianola. Up to 20.
And back here at halftime, the ever popular Chuck for a Buck. They throw those red balls you see on the field, and the closest one to the board wins the prize. Someday I want to go down there and try for that, was it month's supply or 500 pounds of Cheetos or whatever it is. 300 bags of snack-sized Cheetos or something. That'd keep me in Cheetos for a while. But anyway, Dar Danielson, Hunter Phillips with you here. Let's talk about the first half for the Menace. Started kind of slow. It was mostly on the Chicago half through the first half of the first half, and then they kind of switched, and there was a penalty jumble up in the box and a foul, and Kino Ryusuke took the PK in the 26th minute and scored his 13th goal on the season. Then about 3 minutes later, Omar Mohammed got the goal, and that was Ryusuke had the assist, right?
He did.
On that. Did you say that was his first assist of the season?
Yeah, first assist of the season for Ryusuke, doing it all here tonight.
In the 29th minute, made it 2-0, and then a beautiful corner there from Covarrubias, right in off the head of Audie Jepson into the net in the 43rd minute, and that's where we stand at halftime. 3-0 for the Menace. And, if you're Charlie Trout, the coach of Chicago United, you've seen this story before.
Yes.
And you've tried before at halftime to come up with a solution, but, what's he going to talk about then tonight? What do they do? You're down 3-0 here on the road to the Menace.
Well, I'm glad I don't have Charlie Trout's job because I'm not sure what I would tell my team because I thought we played so well. If I'm Chicago FC United, I thought we played really well. We were able to establish possession there within the first 15 minutes. But then all of a sudden it just took that one breakaway play for the Menace to get on the board. And then all of a sudden it just seemed like they became just very uncomposed out there. We saw a lot of penalties, and that slowed down the game a little bit, and that was in the advantage of the Menace clearly. And, you talk about a bad story. We still have one half of soccer yet to play, and between these two teams, the Menace have outscored Chicago 10-1. So
yeah, and you were just saying the phrase, and no more got it out of your mouth about how are they going to react out of that goal when the Menace got possession and went back the other way and scored. And then and then after that it got worse because you're right, they just lost composure. Then it was more of coming up and trying to be hard foul and play, and that physical stuff doesn't work against the Menace. They move the ball too well. They get rid of it off the touch very well, and you just can't do that to get back into a match against them.
Yeah, and if it were closer, like the first match between these two teams when it was 1-0 as they were about to get set for the second half, then you could expect to see more physical play, but really, you could see the frustration was mounting, and then especially with the back line of Chicago, the players were just yelling at one another. There was not very good communication as a lot of the players lost their man, and that's why there are a lot of opportunities for the Des Moines Menace there. As they could be leading by more than just 3-0, in my opinion, here at half. So I think Chicago has to be fortunate there, but Chicago, they're not done. I mean, they have a match. They still have a second half, obviously, here tonight, but they have a match against the Menace yet again tomorrow night. So, I mean, they are clearly in the driver's seat in terms of trying to get that second playoff spot, but it's not going to be easy when they get rattled that easily from a team scoring. And the Menace, again, just looking very composed, collective, and they were just able to pick apart Chicago there in the first half with a multitude of players.
We'll say a shout-out to Caw Valley or Thunder Bay if they're watching tonight because they want a Menace win.
Yes, absolutely.
Both of these games because that helps them in the playoff situation, and maybe some of them are watching the broadcast here tonight. They like what they've seen to start it out. And the one thing about the Menace is I saw one lapse in that game against Caw Valley late where they gave up a late goal to let them tie it, and they went on to tie that. But so far I haven't seen a lot where they've lapsed in the second half, and then what was it? They said they were outscoring in the second half, 19-4 after the half. They've outscored their opponents. So, they haven't trailed in the first half. In the second half, they get even stronger. It seems like.
And if you look at the numbers, if you're Chicago FC United, it's a long uphill climb for you, especially being down 3-0. So even if they're unable to equalize this match, they're just in a point right now where they need to get as many points as they possibly can. Especially considering that these are the last two matches for them here tonight and tomorrow night. But, certainly if you're the teams below Chicago right now, you're thinking, man, this is working out beautifully for us. And so, again, it's been just really impressive to watch the Menace just really pick apart opposing defenses just by staying patient. We saw early on, I think what was really impressive, we'd see Kino Ryosuke in a breakaway. He would just slow down a little bit. He'd wait for his teammates to rally up instead of, really trying to get towards the goal right there. And we saw Omar Muhammad, a guy who really, his one speed is his turbo speed. I mean, he does not slow down very often, but even Omar did a great
it
job.
seems like he's looking ahead and he knows where he wants to go with the ball when he goes. If he isn't going to take it to the goal himself, it seems like he knows where he's going to go with it. And I know I'm not cheerleading here, but I'm just kind of saying what I've seen through the Menace. They haven't seen him go off early on. First couple games, they'd go offside a little bit and get a little too carried away. And as they got more comfortable with each other, knowing where they're going to go up front, they've been onside. They don't get offside. They wait, as you said, for somebody else to run onto the ball or something like that. And they've really played well. They've kind of that defense has held them in early, and now the offense is kind of coming into its own here and just really making it tough on the defenders from the other team. Yeah, and they know that they don't have to force the issue. They know that they have the weapons there in the front line to be able to take care of long passes, short passes there in the box, and it led to them getting multiple opportunities and scoring in different ways. And so, again, that's how the Menace have been able to control this match, is that they've been able to not only settle in on defense, but also figuring out what Chicago does on defense, and they were able to expose those weaknesses, as we really saw there. Once Kino scored there in the 24th minute, it was all Menace. They pretty much controlled all of that first half. Well, we're at halftime. Clock winding down at the half. Menace up 3-0. We'll take a final break here, and we'll come back and get the second half going after this on CISN.TV.
Clothing store, the one that had it all, everything to get the work done, all in one place. G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us, or we're only a click or phone call away. Family owned for nearly a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll, Des Moines.
G&L Clothing, your size, your style, we've got it all.
Who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury. Whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
Vision for the future. The ability to turn a challenge into a success, and individuals who inspire new generations of growth. Greater Des Moines has done a lot of growing over the years, and so have we. At Brick Gentry Law, your success is something that we create together. Thank you for making us a part of your community. Thank you for 50 years.
Faster.
Building a
Healthier. You want more. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community. You want to get...
Well, we're not a mega food, fashion, fitness, you name it center. For 80 years, we've been your neighborhood meat and grocery store, focused on cutting you the highest quality meats for your backyard barbecue, providing the freshest ingredients for your summer salad, and making sure your shopping trip is as easy and sweet as Grandma's blueberry pie. So while others try to put it all under one roof, at Fairway, we put our all into meat and grocery. Welcome to Fairway, where we're not a mega food, fashion, fitness, you name it center.
And welcome back to Valley Stadium here on this Friday night. The Des Moines Menace taking on Chicago FC United and lead 3-0 as we're getting set for the second half. Hunter Phillips and Dar Danielson here with you on a gorgeous night here in West Des Moines. And Dar, the Menace not wasting any time after that 24th minute. Man, they've really just controlled that first half, and now it's going to be interesting to see what kind of adjustments Chicago FC United makes here as the Menace are pretty much in cruise control, but know that this is a United team that has the weapons, including Hawkinson, a Menace alum who leads the team in scoring and had a couple of shots there in the first half. Going to be a fun second half.
Yeah, we'll see. You're going to expect probably a surge out of Chicago as they try to get one back quickly and steal back a little bit of the momentum. And, man, it's a beautiful night here. The only place where it's warm is in that elevator. That steel elevator, about 110 degrees. But I'm not complaining because it's a beautiful breeze here tonight. And, shoot, we're what is it, 80-some degrees, I think, but it feels 82, but it feels real nice out there. Here's a long one back the other way will go out to Chicago. They're in white. The Menace in their home red here tonight. Up 3-0. And Chicago trying to get something going. And they send it to this side. And Akeem Ward back into the middle. And up top. Looking for Hawkinson, and he hasn't really had much chance to touch the ball. And over there, they get it away from him as soon as he does. Their leading scorer. And they call advantage on it. They go up ahead. Ryusuke runs it down. And foul right away called on Chicago, and that's probably not a bad thing because it keeps Ryusuke from turning on that ball. And the Menace will get a free kick to the left, just outside the box there. And that's what has hurt Chicago, hurt them to start. They gave up that PK. And Ryusuke snuck it into the right side, fake, got the goalkeeper moving left. Here's the kick, sliding in and knocked away. That'll be a corner for the Menace. So here early, Chicago's still not able to kind of get the momentum away as Jepson will take the kick from this side. And there we go. Swinging in. Deep, but defenders are there. Knocked down. Muhammad takes it back to the middle. Quick kick. Oh! In there. Muhammad, number 2 on the night. How did he thread that through the traffic?
I think that goal left both you and I speechless there. I mean, you couldn't have kicked it any better than that if you are Omar Muhammad.
I thought he was just going to try to get it up ahead to one of his teammates, and boom, he snuck it right in through there into the corner, and it was a goal.
And, Omar has had those opportunities there in the front of the box, and he's been awfully patient tonight, even though he's already scored once, but showing off just the craftiness that he has, being able to evade a couple of defenders and just ever so slightly having that opening there and curling that into the upper right corner of the goal, and there's nothing that Sawyer Jackman could have done there. That was just beautiful.
And that is what they call a good piece of skill, the way he worked that ball with his feet and shot it through there, Yeah, I was just sitting here thinking, okay, he's going to try to get it through that traffic to somebody else, and boom, right on through into the goal. This is a foul by the Menace. And just a few minutes in to the second half, and the Menace are on the board again. The second goal by Muhammad. This one knocked away by Mercado, and it'll be a corner for Chicago. Well, here's one where they really need to take advantage of it and pull out a play if they've got one.
Yeah, the set pieces are where Chicago are going to get their goals tonight if they're able to execute.
This one's swinging in. Header wide. Not in a bad spot there. Looking for CC Uche.
And there was nobody around CC Uche right there. And just a little bit off there on the header going wide to the left. But going off of that last save there by Carlos Mercado, who's really having a good night tonight here as well. Had 3 saves there in the first half. That one was partially deflected off the leg of Wilfred Williams, and Mercado stayed with that play, able to make the save. And then right there, almost an opportunity there to get on the board for Chicago, but just weren't able to get the right feel there on that header.
And Coach Gorick, the keeper coach, as it were, he's got to be pleased with these 2 keepers, the way he's developed them. And almost snuck it in by the defender there, but the Menace clear it out deep. And Chicago now will turn it back. Akeem Ward over there to Martin Alba. Into the middle. Well, here, let's see if maybe they're trying to compose themselves and get something going. Oop. Back a little too much, but now back to what we saw in the first half, where they were working it into their half and being patient with it. And almost got it in there, but the Menace knock it away. Good defending again. This one up over the top, but sent it back out. Audie Jepson couldn't get to it. Now they'll send it to the left side. And can't find the gap again. As Altwine back there to knock it away. It'll stay with Chicago.
And whenever Chicago's been in this position here in the far corner, they haven't been able to do very much, as the Menace are able to steal it shortly after the throw-in.
That'll stay with them. But, yeah, they just – well, they'll say they go back to the Menace now. They get it down there, but just can't keep possession and get it through. Break the lines to get a shot at the goal. Back out again to the Menace. Got the ball girl over there working hard. Running those down on that left side. Oh, Audie Jepson heads it ahead. But Chicago will pick it up.
Seeing they're trying to work the middle, but again, having to opt to go on the outside.
Well, you got 2 defenders right in there. On that forward up top. And now taken away. Outside, trying to work it still. Gomez. And Audie Jepson now takes it away, and he'll turn it. And Audie left foots it out deep, give him some space. And not a good pass there. Muhammad steps in. Stop and go. And he wanted the foul there, but the referee says no. Keep playing.
Omar just trying to do a little too much there. And many times tonight he's been able to escape a couple of defenders, but that time,
yeah, the guy on the left, he might, should have maybe tried to cross that to the left or send it over to the left. feeling confident with the 2 goals. And, ooh, just about to say almost a foul by Fenwick, and he does, right up at the top of the box there. So it'll be a good opportunity here for Chicago.
Closest they've been on a set piece here tonight. Let's see how many they opt to go on which side, where they'll commit the most to.
Perpa set to take the kick there. Now they'll give him 10 yards off the ball. And they'll set up 2. Who will take it? Perpa with the left foot. And nice job by Mercado to go up, high point that, bring it in. Not a bad shot there if it was hooking for that upper 90 in the right there, but Mercado was right there to knock it down.
Perpa put everything that he possibly could into that ball, and Mercado just has great hands and knew exactly where to go and just right into the big mitts that he has. He has been very active tonight, unlike the last 2 matches against Chicago. He's had to make more saves than he usually does, but tell you what, he loves being out there and getting those opportunities, and he's been making it look easy out there.
Covarrubias turns it, sends it up ahead. Oh! Trip there by, and now they're going to call. Yep, there's the PK on the goaltender. Yellow card given also to Sawyer Jackman.
I think it's safe to say that this Friday night has not been kind to Mr. Jackman.
Well, you can come out as a keeper, but if you're going to attack, you better go for the ball. And there he didn't. It'll be another PK. Ryusuke scored the first goal of the match on that. So Jackman still arguing it, but you come out and take a guy's feet out without getting any of the ball, and that's
definitely the right call there.
Not too easy, yeah, not too hard at all for the referee to call. Ryusuke lines it up. Last time he fooled him, had him going left, and he just dribbled it in to the right. Now he resets the ball again. Does it the same thing. Has him going left and scores the goal to the left. Has him going right, scores to the left. It just looks too easy, doesn't it?
Just too easy is exactly right. Man, Kino Ryusuke, he was there in prime position there on the breakaway and then was able to draw the foul, which happened to be on the goalkeeper, and, just adding a little bit more salt on the wound there, as he has now scored 4 goals against Sawyer Jackman this year. And a little deja vu from the last time that these two teams met, except the last time when they scored 5 goals, it was in the final 23 minutes. But tonight, the Menace just not wasting any time, especially here to open up this second half.
Yeah. And that first set, it was a 2-1 match in the first game, and then the next night it was 5-0. But right here, the Menace up 5-0 early. And now they send it back. So
now leads the entire PDL in scoring with 14 goals.
14 goals for Kino Ryusuke.
And Dar, I think we should also add, too, that play was set up by Alejandro Covarrubias, really faking out the defender and passing it up, and he has had himself a really good night as well for the Menace.
Yeah, he had that ball and was bringing it up and then saw Ryusuke coming up the right side and sent it right through there. Right pace, he didn't overshoot him, laid it right in there and allowed him to go for it, and then kind of hung out the goaltender Jackman there. He had to make a decision, and he came out too hard and fouled. And now here's the corner, and it goes through the football goalpost.
Wrong kind of football here
Yep.
tonight.
Yep.
But no, I mean, they've had those opportunities on the corner kicks here this evening, but the headers just have not had the touch that you need against the Menace. But again, it was just very well defended there in front of the goal.
As the Menace have scored on 2 PKs in a corner, so 3 on set pieces, and then Omar Muhammad snuck that other goal through there. How, I don't know, but and a foul again. This will go against Chicago.
Yeah, and at home, if you're tallying the amount of fouls that Chicago has here tonight, you're almost running out of room. And we should make a note, too, about a couple substitutions for the Menace. Jonathan Bolanos coming in for Adi Jepson, who scored a goal earlier on that one of those set pieces, as you mentioned there, Dar, on that corner kick. And then Tyler Limmer coming in for Kino Ryosuke, the leading goal scorer in the PDL.
Thanks for pointing those out for me. And into the 61st minute here. Chicago needing to find some fireworks of their own here in this second half, but another one of the issues with the Menace is they're so sound technically that once they get that lead and moving that ball around.
And they have not trailed in PDL play this season. I think that's, again, a testament to, as you just mentioned, that once they gain that lead, they've been tied a couple of times, obviously, here in PDL play, but they have not surrendered the lead yet, and it is because of how technically sound they are, as you mentioned. As it looks like a couple of more substitutions are going to come in for both teams.
Wang Sunday getting ready to come in for the Menace, and if he had a number on the front of his jersey, I could tell, or his shorts, but
looks like Sven Koenig is going out for Chicago.
And that'll be number 11.
I believe that is Connor Alba there for Chicago.
Okay, yeah, I got to look at my other sheet because the program they gave us, all the numbers are different from what the official sheet they gave us. So Connor Alba. In. And Barry goes out. Wang Sunday comes in.
And it's great to see Wang Sunday back out there. Did not play last weekend. Knew that he was a little injured, so great to see him out there. And, man, what a veteran presence to come off the bench for Alan Marcina's team.
Yeah, and I've been impressed in the games earlier that the way he's been that operator in the middle, just like Mohammed, where he gets that ball and knows where to distribute it and at the right time, right pace. And I've been really impressed with the way he stepped up this season. You know, that's kind of infectious. You get a guy up top scoring, and then, you know, everybody wants to move the ball around. They don't want to be the one that leaves him, you know. And it just kind of it builds that confidence, and everybody's looking to move the ball around and get it in the right place for him.
Absolutely. I think that's a great way to describe this Menace team, is that it's been infectious. And when you interview any of these guys, when you've seen them on either TV, you read any articles about the Menace, it's been just team. That has been the focus, and it's easier said than done, and the Menace have made it look easy, just how well they communicate and how they're able to execute.
And it didn't go out the touchline. They're still staying with it, battling for it, and now great job by Williams?
Yeah, I believe that was Wilfred Williams, and that has really been an underrated battle that's been fun to watch here tonight between Akeem Ward and Wilfred Williams. They have not made it easy on one another. I know last week against Cobb Valley, Wilfred Williams was really handling the ball for most of the first half. They were really going to him on the far side. Not so much here tonight, but Williams is just one of those feisty guys. He's going to mix it up with opposing players, and he's going to do anything for his team to get possession.
Chicago trying to get back the other way, but knocked away. And they'll drop it. Try to get it back up ahead, but still battling on the far side. Chicago comes out of there with it. Trying to move quickly when they get that defense pushed up so they can maybe break that back line. But so far they've not been able to do it. Muhammad keeps it alive. Chicago now will turn it, and then a foul by Williams.
And just when there was a sliver of an opening there for Chicago, there was Wilfred Williams coming in and stopping any kind of play to develop.
Drop it in there, now back out. Trying to get a little inside out going.
Again, the Menace just eliminating that give and go option for Chicago.
And then they step up. Covarrubias. They take it away. Limmer. Offside. It's the first one we've seen against the Menace, I believe, in the match.
Tyler Limmer coming off 2 goals in that shortened exhibition match last Saturday against Union Dubuque FC, building up his confidence. One of those real talented reserve players for the Menace.
Yeah, and those are the ones, the exhibition, where you get a chance to show a little bit, you know, because you get a little more playing time compared to the starters and a chance to show the coach. And now here late in the match, a chance again to show, hey, I want a little more playing time. That one is in. A goal. And
I believe that was Connor Alba there, one of the reserves who just came in about 4 minutes ago. And there was room right there for him to operate with the left foot. Just a powerful strike that rarely you see ever get past Carlos Mercado. And that Chicago finally on the board.
That was just right up under the crossbar there, perfectly placed by Alba. So Williams will go out, and we'll have Rashid Tita come in for the Menace. Is moving around a lot of players here now. But Chicago's on the board. Let's see if that gives them any kind of boost here. And now there's a foul. Back there, Limmer. It'll be a free kick for Uche. Say hi to our friend Doug Dillevin if he's still out there watching tonight. I saved you a piece of pizza, Doug, but I'm going to have to eat it if you don't show up soon. As Jimmy laughs because he knows I'm going to eat it anyway. But if Jimmy didn't know, you didn't eat that last piece of pizza, did you yet, Jimmy? No. Jimmy Olsen running the machinery here for us tonight. I want to say board, but it's not a board at the radio station, is it? It's a computer, yeah. Up ahead and out. Well, I'm not going to admit it, but I was in broadcasting before they used computers. But 69th minute here. The Menace up 5-1. But have really been in control since that PK in the 26th minute. Ryusuke, that opened the scoring. Chicago sends it out wide. Now back in. Oh, nice job by Mercado to knock that down from Alba.
Yeah, Alba's really provided a lot of energy for Chicago off the bench, but that time Mercado knew where he was going there, just slightly there with that little side kick. It still had a little speed on that one, but Mercado was able to catch up with that one, dive to his left, and make another very quality save here tonight.
Chicago trying to chip away some more here. And into the middle, but it's cleared out momentarily.
Now it looks like another substitution here for Chicago. Martin Alba is going to be exiting this one for Chicago FC United. See who's going to check in. But they've gotten some good production so far from their reserve players. Again, if they can try to build off of anything positive here tonight, that'll potentially help them tomorrow, because they still have a lot to play for, even though this just really hasn't been their night thus far.
Yeah, they can still come out and get a win tomorrow and still have that chance at the second playoff spot.
A good job by the Menace once again. Here we go.
On the breakaway. Defender getting back. And just wide. Goal. Got it down there and had a chance, but good job on the defender to close on that.
Speaking of reserves, Jonathan Bolanos looking for his first goal of the season there, as that was beautifully set up there by Chicago, and that was Luke Hawkinson, who we haven't really talked a lot about here, especially in this second half, but had a good opportunity there, but there to clean that play up was Mercado.
Well, there hasn't been a lot on the front end to talk about for Chicago all night, but for the one goal. But there again, there was a good play there, as you said. And the Menace.
That last play for Chicago, that was really the first time here tonight, Dar, where we've seen that give and go work, and just a little bit slow there on defense was the Menace. But you know what also gives a team confidence, we've been talking about the confidence of this Menace team, is having a good goalkeeper, and Carlos Mercado has made some great saves tonight. I know he gave up that one goal, but that was just a near perfect strike there by Connor Alba. But man, that gives your defense a lot of confidence when you know that even if a player can slip through a little bit, you have a goalkeeper that's going to make some tremendous plays between the posts.
And the Menace do have some new guys in there and trying to, get back in the flow of where everybody's going to when you put in some new pieces into the puzzle here. And, of course, at this point, if you make a few mistakes with that, not going to hurt you so much when you're leading 5-1. Chicago turns it into the middle. And, his own player got in the way there, but looked like he was turning to get a shot, but then kind of ran into traffic. Up ahead for the Menace. Now they'll send it way up top. Bolanos trying to work it. They do a little do-si-do. And they call the foul on Bolanos, and it'll go back the other way to Chicago.
Boy, and Akeem Moore just had to work for everything here tonight, either it being Wilfred Williams or there Jonathan Bolanos battling for the ball as Chicago comes on the break here, but the Menace do have numbers.
Trying to work it back toward the middle, slide it in, and then knocked away and cleared by the Menace. Chicago back on the attack. Across the top, nice header, but it's high and a little too wide, but a good delivery in there. And that's the way things have gone.
That's about 3 headers that they've missed on here in the second half alone. And again, that was Luke Hawkinson, former Menace player from last year. And it's been a frustrating night for him and for Chicago, as looks like yet again we're going to have another substitution come in for Chicago.
And Hawkinson might go out and rest those legs.
And they'll need
tomorrow.
Hawkinson tomorrow,
Yeah.
absolutely.
As he heads toward the sideline. And that was one of the first times we saw him go up over the middle and try to get behind that defense, and just about got it there. And as Hawkinson will go out. And Muhammad goes down. He's down, but he gets back up finally.
It looks like Alan Marcini, the coach for the Menace, opting to give Muhammad some more playing time. He was on the bench briefly, but now re-entering the game. I believe that was Dayuk that entered there for Chicago just recently.
Yeah, Yunus Dayuk. And the fans are excited as the T-shirt gun is out.
I have to say, looking down at the Maniac down there, he looks awfully patriotic.
Yeah, I just noticed that out of the corner of my eye. He's all dressed up for the fireworks. He's got the red, white, and blue on now.
And a splendid crowd here tonight at Valley Stadium. I mean, just a picture-perfect night. I think the best day of the week, by far best night of the week. It's just been so darn humid here after all the rain we had. And, man, a beautiful night. And for what's really just been a beautiful game from the hometown Des Moines Menace.
Yeah, I went up to the Urbandale Parade on Wednesday, and, man, it was hot.
Oh, boy.
You know, it was almost, the Tootsie Rolls were almost melting on the street before the kids could pick them up.
Right.
You know, when they threw them out from the parade, it was that hot. And something I hadn't seen in the years that I've been there, people were left a little early because it started clearing out. It's just so hot and humid. And, but you're right, tonight just a beautiful night out here for soccer. And then fireworks after the game. What's looking like gonna be victory number 11 for the Menace. With the corner here. Their second corner of the second half. This one swings out. Oh, and trying to go up high, but couldn't quite connect on that one. And now Chicago trying to quickly counter here against the Menace. I think that was Limmer who was up in the middle there looking for it. And
a lot put on that shot there by Chicago. Couldn't quite catch the number there, but fortunately for the Menace, just a little wide off target, as Chicago's really had a lot of chances here lately, as the Menace have kind of eased off the gas pedal a little bit.
And this one up. Dayu sends it back out. Into the 79th minute here. Well, there's a little collision inside, and that was a case where Teta wasn't even kind of intentional. I don't think he even saw the player behind him and was moving back and knocked him over and drew the foul.
Yeah, unintentional there. And see if Chicago again, set pieces. They have not taken advantage of them tonight. See what they can do here, as it looks like putting a bigger emphasis there on the right side of the box. That's where the numbers are at. See what they can come up with here.
Whistle and the kick. And that way too much under that one. And goes back up on the hill. Mercado will take the goal kick.
I'm sure if you're Charlie Trout, not going to be pleased with the overall effort and execution there on that set play, as that one was just way out of the field of play.
And you got to keep it down to at least give them a chance to, somebody get on it or get a ricochet somewhere. You got to put it in the box there where somebody can get to it, but just a mishit underneath it. Limmer putting the pressure on there, forcing them to get rid of that quickly. And they'll turn it around here. Final 10 minutes of regulation of the match. A little grab there. Late, just a little slowing things down a bit here late in the match. Off to the east, straight across from us. The fireworks are set up and ready to ignite at the end of this match. And at this point, a little early yet, but in the man of the match, Muhammad or Ryusuke, I would think.
Yeah, you could definitely look at a lot of different players here tonight, but certainly the play of Muhammad, who really hasn't seen much time as a starter this year for the Menace. At least last week he was coming off the bench, but playing more minutes here in tonight's match and certainly earned them with his creativity and just his overall execution on several different plays as the Menace are
Limmer outside
again.
All wine, now back into the middle. Sunday sends it over. Way out wide now. Back ahead. Muhammad. Meticulously moving it through there, but defender steps in and now back the other way. While the defense isn't quite as tight, they haven't just totally dropped off when it comes to marking Chicago.
No, there was that brief period here in the second half where Chicago was definitely having more success in the middle and more successful with the 1-2, but lately the Menace have stuck to what they've done best, and that's just staying compact as they're able to take it away from Chicago yet again.
Bolanos in the middle there. Now back. And again. Take it away. Bolanos drops it. And they'll build it up from the back. Taking their time here. Allwine now makes a little run left side. Two defenders on him, and they tackle it out. It'll stay with the Menace. And we'll get another substitution here. I think that's Biko Brennan getting ready to come in. Covarrubias will go out, and he's had a nice little match tonight.
I was going to say, too, I mean, you could also argue that he could be the man of the match, even though he hasn't necessarily scored here tonight. He has set up his teammates beautifully. Of course, he had the assist on the corner kick there in the first half, but then was able to push it up ahead fake out the defender, pass it up to Ryosuke, who eventually was able to draw a foul in the penalty box against the goalkeeper, and he was able to score his second goal of the evening. Kovarubius with just a fantastic night to complement what has been a dominating performance by the Menace.
Yeah, just distributing the ball where he had to, whether it be set piece or on the run. As you talked about that second goal that, well, PK ended up on the foul, and then the second goal for Ryusuke. He was coming up the field and saw him up ahead and just laid it in there. Now back the Menace. Battling, trying to turn it. Is Bolanos. Now sneaks by the defender. And he gets knocked down, but
A for effort certainly there by Jonathan Bolanos. And if you're Alan Marcin and you see how these reserve players this evening out there giving it his all, and has come close to a couple of scoring opportunities here in the second half.
Sneak it into the middle, now back, and the Menace are there again to step in. And now the slow counter. Back the other way, Muhammad. Sends it outside on the edge. Try to had Limmer running on, but couldn't get it by the defender there. If he did, he had a pretty good look at it.
Limmer, again, one of those guys that if you're an opposing team, you just can't sleep on him because he does have an ability to be able to break through a defense and be able to score.
There's Limmer there with it. Drops it back to Muhammad. Now gets it back. And they're just content to set this up into the last 4 minutes of regulation. Leading 5-1. Leave it in the middle, now outside. Double teamed again. They clamp, but he gets through the defenders and can't get through the last one, though. And that's one of the hallmarks of this team. They close well and clamp you off before you can. Trying to go one-on-one with them, well, it's not usually one-on-one. It's 1-on-2, 1-or-3, and then finding a way to get it out of there. Knowing that the defensive numbers are all over you, but you can't get it out to someone,
And that's just textbook Menace defense this year. They have just been really suffocating there as Akeem Ward is as athletic as they come there at the forward position. Hats off to him. Doing as much as he could there. But as you said, Dar, it's really tough to do anything when you're surrounded by three Menace players.
Chicago still looking now to work it into the middle. Get it in there, all wall, but can't do anything with it. Over the top and head it out. Fenwick sends it up. Final 2 minutes. Taken by Muhammad. He'll send it outside. Here we're just kind of moving but not really attacking, just kind of working that clock down.
Yeah, no need to press the issue here. If you're the Menace, just milk as much clock as you possibly can and be able to celebrate another fine victory. And if there was any kind of doubt, which probably wasn't much, but if there's any doubt out there on who the top team was in the Heartland Division this year, the Menace silenced anyone who doubted them with this performance tonight.
Coming in now, taken away. Well, early on, they came out, did what they wanted. They controlled it, and they got, was it 3 corners early, but unable, as you said. You said they got to turn those set pieces into goals, and they were unable to do that. And the Menace, just to their credit, they didn't panic or anything. They just stayed with the game plan, and then once they scored a goal, it just kind of like, boom, broke it wide open.
Yeah, the Menace just stayed the course. They wanted to see what Chicago was going to present to them. You know, they faced them twice in late June and knew that they were probably going to do some things they were going to do some things differently. They were going to line up differently on both defense and offense. And, you know, once the 20th minute came, then the Menace said, all right, it's showtime. It's time to go. And they did not look back after that PK goal there by Ryusuke, scoring 3 in the first half and able to get 2 here in the second half, very early on in the second half, to really just put the nail in the coffin.
So we're into extra time now. Haven't been given an indication of 2 minutes now, they're going to say, of stoppage time. Which academic at this point. As the Menace. Bolano steps in, knocks that one away. And we're through the first minute here. Now they just run that into the corner probably. Well, he's going to take it in toward the goal. Oh, cross into the keeper. Nice defending by Jackman. They come out. They're in the final 30 seconds. Looked like one of those where Limmer might just run it to the corner. You don't run the timeout, but he turned toward the goal. Didn't catch Jackman letting up on it. And there we have it, the whistle. That'll be win number 11 for the Des Moines Menace. 11-0-1 here. Chicago falls to 7-4-2 here tonight. We'll have the fireworks coming up in a second, but run down the scoring for you quickly. And they give the man of the match to Mohammed.
Certainly well deserved for really an exciting, intriguing, and crafty play for this Menace team who had a pair of goals tonight.
He had a pair of goals, but we talked about it too. Even when he doesn't score, he takes the pressure off of Ryusuke because he's always moving around, and about the time you start focusing on him, he'll give the ball up. But here's how the scoring went tonight. No scoring until the 26th minute, and there was a foul on the box of PK, and Ryusuke faked the keeper to the right and snuck it, or faked him to the left on that one, snuck it into the right, just an easy little shot in there, and it was 1-0 Menace. And then Ryusuke got his first assist of the season. Omar Mohammed, the man of the match, in the 29th minute. He put it in the back of the net. Then was a corner from Corporal Rubius into Audie Jepson. A beautiful delivery of the ball. Jepson took it at the top with his head and headed it right into the goal in the 43rd minute, and it was 3-0 at the half. Then Mohammed got his second goal, and one where it looked like there was a lot of traffic in front of the goal. It looked like he was maybe going to try to chip it up to a teammate, but he just fired it between the defenders into the goal for goal number 2 for him in the 48th minute. And then another PK, Ryusuke, in the 57th minute gets goal number 14 as he leads the whole PDL here. And that's the way we finished up. There was Alba in the 66th minute did add a a late goal for Chicago, and that's the way we end up 5-1. But a good win tonight here for the Menace.
Yeah, and they didn't have to wait for it to get dark out in order to set off the fireworks here tonight. And it was just a litany of players that got it done for the Menace. And you mentioned Omar Muhammad taking that pressure off, even off of guys like Adi Jepson, who was very active around the goal here this evening. I mean, just a great effort by the Menace. You know, Chicago, they came out and they had a really good game plan, I think, early on, but maybe they pressed a little too much. Maybe they got a little bit tired out there, and the Menace just were able to take control after that. And Dar, I think what really, what lost control of this match for Chicago was when their temper started to flare a little bit. They were fouled a little too much and lost their composure, and that's when it really escaped them, as the Menace were able to get 2 quick goals. And the Menace have not given up a lead yet this year, and when you're down 3-0 to a team that has only given up 5 goals now this year, it was an uphill battle for Chicago, but the Menace were able to settle in, and then they were able to take control.
And we didn't mention them a lot, but they were key to this. The defenders in that back line, Brandon Fricky, Johnny Fenwick, James Allwine, also, let's see who else, Alfred Williams back there, just were solid. They never let Chicago get it up over the top or break that back line. And Chicago, anything they got, just late when they started getting some substitutes in there, they finally punched a nice shot in there. But otherwise, that back line, Chicago couldn't bust through it at all.
No, and again, a credit to them. And I think Wilfred Williams, single-handedly took away the options on the far side. Akeem Ward is a very athletic player and a guy who can create in space for Chicago, but Wilfred Williams really did a good job of shutting him down. And then, the captain there in that back line, Brandon Fricky, able to clear out a lot of the headers. Those were the opportunities for Chicago tonight. They really squandered those set pieces. When we opened up the broadcast, we said if Chicago has any chance here tonight, if you're going to score against this tough Menace defense, it has to be on set plays. It has to be when you quickly throw it in and you somehow are able to manage to get the Menace defense off guard, but they weren't able to do that, and that's because this back line is compact as any in the PDL.
Well, we'll take a break here. We'll do that, come back, wrap it up, and let you watch the fireworks after this on CISN.TV.
And here, we don't just dream, we make history by nearly doubling our clean energy as part of our 100% renewable vision. With this, our energy costs will remain some of the lowest in the nation. We'll create new jobs and boost economic growth. Our air will be cleaner, our state stronger, and together, we'll advance this country's energy future forever. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service. This is Iowa.
Summer is always a happy time of year, and at Come and Go, we want to make you even happier. That's why we have great deals all summer long, like our made fresh pizzas that are buy one and get one free every Friday. And you can sip happy with any size drink for just $1 every day. Or get 10 cents off fuel when you buy any 3 sodas. So come on in and find your happy this summer. Come and Go, where and means more happy.
Off select new Silverado 1500 double cabs. Up to $13,000 off select new Ford F-150 Super Cruise. Hundreds of new Chevys and Fords marked with one low price. Schottenkirk is in a position to give you $300 to $500 more for your trade. The All-American Sales Event going on now at Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee, Schottenkirk Ford Indianola. Schottenkirk's All-American Sales Event featuring one low price on Iowa's 2 top.
Here at Valley Stadium, the final tonight. Moines Menace defeat Chicago FC United 5-1. Dar Danielson, Hunter Phillips wrapping it up. And Hunter, kind of rewind the tape and see what I've been seeing all season long here with the Menace. They come out, go to work, get the lead, and keep the pressure on and never really let up.
Yeah, and, there's a couple of interesting storylines. Number one, were the Menace going to keep their unbeaten record heading into this match? And for Chicago, all they needed is one win, and they still need one win to get that second playoff berth into the PDL playoffs. And there's always I mean, to the fans' point of view, you know, there's always that sense of, man, there's always that pressure to stay undefeated, especially when playing at home. But the Menace this year, they've really just taken it game by game, no matter who the opponent is. But they've really just had the upper hand on this Chicago team, as you know, including this match here tonight. They've outscored Chicago 12-2 this year in matches, and have outscored opponents 32-5 overall. And it's not in really a flashing way, although we saw some flashy goals here tonight. They just methodically are able to go through the progressive stages of the game and know when they have to press, when they know that they have the numbers, when to make the right plays, and they did that tonight. You know, they really settled in. They weren't forcing things with the first 15 minutes, and maybe Chicago was maybe a little overconfident, but then the Menace said, not so fast, and they were able to take advantage of really a frustrated team in Chicago here tonight, and 5 goals, just a big night for the Menace.
All right, so the Menace go to 11-0-1. They play Chicago again tomorrow night at 7:30. So if you like what you saw and want to come on out tomorrow night, or watch us here live on CISN.TV.